What's up, guys? It's Jordan from the Exiles. We're back from Nats, and whilst our Nats work the greatest, we have been cooking on that fresh new ban list.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. Like Sprite just got a slap on the wrist, man. But to be fair, actually, I say that, but we got a harder hit with the gamma limit. Like, loads of people think that just starters at two, that's fine. But gamma was like one of the main ways of stopping stuff like Ash Blossom. And considering a lot of the time you activate cards like starter during draw phase, so they get draw. Um, that hit harder. That's going to hit much harder. But I'm still convinced that Live Twin Spright is still going to be a really, really good variant. So we'll go into it. It's really standard, just Sprite lineup. So triple blue. This is compulsory as if like anything. Like out of everything, I'm surprised this didn't get touched. 3 jet, standard again. I mean, just searches every spell trap. And then 2 red. I'm going to expect people to also want to play 2 copies of Carrot. If you're going to play 2 copies of it, you're playing it wrong. Starter going to 2 literally does nothing. It does absolutely nothing, because even if you don't open starter, then a majority of the time, like, you're going to search it and you're only going to use probably about 2 in the game anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Speaking of starter, 2 starter, because now the card's semi-limited, which does absolutely nothing. Well, I say that, it's just a lower chance of opening it, but considering every other sprite is practically a high level and Gigantic's still a thing, there's no problem. 1 smash news. This is good going first or second. I never actually side this out, because I know loads of people will side this out and put out Sprite Double Cross. But I prefer main decking both of them, because the fact that this card is just good going first, and this is good going first and second. It's also a way of dodging Imperm and Veiler, because of the fact that it's like if you summon blue, for example, get the search, and you say have this in your hand because you search this off of Jet, you basically can just activate the smashes, banish the card, and then you just get a search anyway. So it's really good. Gamma Burst. If you're not main decking this, you are playing it wrong. This card has to be main decked. The amount of times, even just over even over the WCQ, like, even though when at the WCQ I was playing 3, like, this just wins games overall. It just wins games. Like, this is, in my opinion, the correct ratios for sprite monsters. Like, I don't play 2 carrot. Don't bump up like any other monsters. Like, it's fine. Don't chuck in pixies, unless you're playing like a pure variant, like a Melfi variant. But in my opinion, like, it's totally fine just playing it with this sort of lineup. So the live twin variant, because I'm playing live twin variant, I'm playing triple Lilla. She's the best one, not just because she's the dark one, but because of the fact that she special summons Kill Frost. And Kill Frost being the one that lets you draw during your opponent's turn is great. Personally, if it was vice versa and like it was like Lilla Treat was the draw one, then people would be playing that instead. But this is just the best one because it just gives you a draw during your opponent's turn. And then the 1 Kill. Again, standard starter up, because a lot of the time, if you say open Sunny Snitch, a majority of the time you're going to go for, if you have Lilla in your hand, you activate Sunny Snitch, searching the Frost, and then more than likely special summon this one from the deck, considering this is basically a free extender on top.
Yeah.
Triple Sunny Snitch. I don't play Secret Password in this. I feel that if you play the secret password on top, you're lowering your ratios and getting a hold of the sprite monsters. Therefore, what happens is it just turns into a Trouble Sunny end turn. You don't want that. You need to get those sprite monsters out. You want to try and get that carrot. You want to try and get that red. And then this is the 1 Solstice. This card is incredible. The relationship that this has with Lilla is brilliant. And this is the only card that you really want to send with Sprint, which loads of Sprite players, Live Twin Sprite players dropped. If you send this with Sprint, if you pop a card with Lilla, pop a monster with Lilla, this instantly special summons itself and then pops another monster. Like, I was against a Kashira player. He instantly went to game 3 after I basically activated Lilla to pop a card. This triggered in the graveyard. He had no idea what this did, and it was just an additional pop on his unicorn. So I popped his unicorn and his Fenrir straight to next game because he had nothing. So this is just like an optimal lineup for just the live twin live twin monsters.
Say that again. Optimal. Yeah?
Optimal.
Optimal.
So the hand trap lineups where it got a little bit different because I tested this build specifically, the 2-starter, in the advanced double up, which was like a small bubble tournament at the WCQ. So for this, I was playing 3 Ash Blossom. This is standard. Triple Veiler. So initially, like I preferred playing Gamma over this, but because Gamma is obviously now limited, and there's going to be a lot more decks that really don't play around like the graveyard and everything, play around banished tiles much. Like we're going to see a lot more branded. We're going to see a lot more Sprite. This hits Sprite really hard because of the fact it just lowers short consistency. And obviously branded just negating stuff like Oliver to get the searches, Mirror Jade, all that sort of stuff is just handy stuff. And then this is where it got a bit more interesting because I actually main deck Triple Magnum and the Wondrous one. So a lot of people just think this is just a go second card. This far from the case. A lot of the time you're going to have loads and loads and loads of Sprite monsters in the graveyard, like your Jet, your Blue, even just like Lilla or anything along those lines, because of the fact that once they're in the graveyard, they're dead. They're completely dead. There's no elf anymore, so because of no elf, you just need to use these as extenders. Like this is just a free extender. You can just use this to go into a Link 2. It's free extenders to go into Spring. Like a lot of the time, you can summon obviously you'll summon Bestial Magnum during your opponent's turn if you can, and then just use it for Link material next turn, which is just really really good. The only thing that these do is it does clash with Lilla, because if you summon this during your opponent's turn and you say go for Lilla, Lilla's effect won't be able to trigger, because of the fact that you're controlling other monsters, and you don't really want that to happen. But aside from that, I just think this is just a great engine, just to go forward. Double Talent was gonna play 3, but kind of felt that 3 was a bit too sacky. It was a bit too sacky because I didn't actually want to see talents that often.
You wanted to see it some of the time and not all the time.
But I wanted to see this more. Holy moly. So obviously evenly matched, what I like to call evenly matched format is kind of dead. In this variant of Sprite, it's just not. Any back row deck, any Kashkira matchup, anything along those lines, if you open evenly match, yeah, you just stop everything. It's just a great card in general, and I don't really see why people are cutting this in the first place. It's just great. And then triple infinite impermanence, standard.
Coolio. That's the main deck,
That's
right?
just the main deck alone, so that's 41 cards in there. I didn't really know what to cut because, like, out of everything, people would say cut like side deck double cross, but double cross is really good into like a Rise Heart because of the fact that either you steal it or just equip it to an XYZ, so it's just broken.
Right.
2 Gigantic Sprite. This is just a very sort of standard one. You guys know what it does. Shadow Ninja Mosquito. Holy moly, this card is absolutely ridiculous. And like people just think that it's just a double A Zeus target, which it kind of is. But this is actually an OTK. It's actually for OTKs at the same time because that hallucination to counter going onto your opponent's monster. If you go into like on a Rise Heart or any big boy monster, that's 3k damage just like to them attacking, and then you can just do the exact same thing with your other Sprite monsters. It's just crazy. Down there, double A Zeus. Yeah. Spring. Again, loads of people underestimate this card in this deck. Loads of people think that you tend to just use the live twin monsters in general, and because Elf is banned, there's no point in playing Sprint. Far from the case. Far from the case. This is an instant dump to Soul Scissors. It's an instant dump to any live twin. You can use Sprint as material on the same turn for Gigantic Sprite, because it only can't be used as Link material, but you can use it as XYZ material for the thing. So it's very easy to just make a live twin conversion play very, very easily, even if you don't open any live twin monsters, which is just crazy. Other Link monsters, the one Trouble Sunny. This comes up a lot. It comes up a lot if you know what you're doing with it, and I'll mention that why in a second. 2 Kisa Kill, and then 2 Lilla. So loads of people will play 2 Lilla, 1 Kisa Kill, or 1 Kisa Kill, 2 Lilla. Just play 2 of each. It's the safest option. My opinion though, I think that's just how it's supposed to be. Muckracker. Muckracker is fantastic. This is a great card just in general because of the fact that this just allows plays to go at a cost of a discard. The only problem with it is that, like, obviously discarding in Live Twin Spright is just not a good idea. This is why cards like Droplet just do not work in this. Even before Cashtera came out, Droplet just does not work in this deck. It just doesn't. And then this is the main reason for why I really liked the Trouble Sunny. Playing the one copy of IP Masquerino. So IP Masquerino was interesting because loads of people think and forget that Trouble Sunny can actually be summoned using an Evil Twin and another XYZ. It just has to have one. It doesn't have to have both. And now you basically just make a 3,300 Big Chungus that can tag itself out, which is just crazy. And considering you got Muckracker, how affects Loopy. I don't tend to use the Banish and Center Graveyard effect, but yeah. Phoenix, again, linked to can be used for XYZs as well. Avramax. Loads of people cut this. Why? It just makes no sense because like a lot of the time when it comes to making Avramax, you tend to do like something like activate Lila, chain IP Masquerina, and then go straight into an Avramax on top. So you basically now have an invincible Avramax that can only really be banished. So it can be smashed and stuff like that. But naturally, it's a pain to get rid of. It just is. Like it can't be destroyed by that. I mean, Branded can get rid of it, but they can't at the same time. It just makes it very difficult. Jade does nothing to this card when it gets destroyed as well. So yeah. But anyway, yeah, that is generally the lineup for it. I would say this variant is definitely going to be a higher tier 1 variant, but I think it will be below the Runic variant. Maybe equal to the Melfi variant, but this is again like kind of a skill-based deck because you need to really know what you're doing with these. And considering Sprite Starter went to 2, which isn't really that big of a deal, it does miss out on a little bit. And no camo as well, so you have to be able to play a bit safer. I am seeing them kind of going to figure out if crossout designate is any good, but I'm not really convinced it is because I'll crossout and triple tax. I much prefer taking the triple tax, but yeah, that's it for the profile. To be honest, like, I think this is just a solid deck. It's super fun as well.
Awesome, thank you, Alex.
Shout outs obviously to the rest of the Exiles and the 20 Board Game Cafe.
Awesome. Cheers, Alex. Right, we are going to be uploading more deck profiles across the week, all new ban lists, so stay tuned for more. Peace out.